Hello and welcome to lesson number 7. Present yourself well. Be physically attractive. Dear ladies, in the lessons from previous days, I have focused on some of the unattractive characteristics that women put on display today that are nothing to do with your physical appearance. They were characteristics of your characters, not your physical bodies. As much as women go on and on about men should not objectify women, we are more than our bodies, when quality men point out that you have many other character flaws not related to your bodies that you could easily address to make yourselves more attractive to us, you seem to not want to listen to our very good advice. So be it. But it is women who are losing out as more and more men join in on the marriage strike. There are no men writing articles about the woman drought and where have all the good women gone. We know where our women are. We also know that they are no longer attractive to quality men. So in this book, I made a point of getting to lesson 7 before I mentioned anything to do with your physical appearance. I wanted to make the point that all us men know that women deteriorate physically over time and that there is no way a 40-year-old woman can compete with a 25-year-old woman in terms of physical appearance. Many women might be very surprised to learn that quality men who plan to marry one woman and remain with one woman all their lives know full well that women deteriorate in their physical appearance over time. So when we are looking for wives, we look for women who are going to stand up to the tests of time better than her peers. The way you stand up to the test of time is to take care and pride in your health and well-being, your appearance, your body. There is also the issue that quality men who are looking to marry and have children look for women who know and understand that their body is their tool to bring new life into this world. Women bear children. If you do not like that, then please take it up with God. Us men know women bear children, and so we know that women who do not take care of their bodies, who are abusing their bodies, are not showing their bodies the respect commensurate with the fact that this is how new people are reproduced. It is very important to quality men who plan to have children that their prospective wife treat her body as if it will be the tool via which his children will be brought into the world. It beggars my belief that young women smoke and drink like men and say, "I should be allowed to do this because the men do it." Dear lady, to the best of my knowledge, no man has ever had a baby. The physical abuse a man might put his body through has no impact at all on the quality of his sperm in his contribution to a new baby. Men produce high-quality sperm into old age almost no matter how hard a life they have lived. To try and say that men and women are the same and equal when it is solely women who bring new babies into the world via the very bodily intensive exercise of pregnancy is just plain ridiculous. And yet that is the argument for I should be allowed to drink and smoke and physically abuse my body just like a man, even though I am the one who has the babies. If you abuse your body, the quality men will notice, and they will be far more reluctant to have babies with you if you have a history of excessive physical chemical abuse. This is not to mention that such things as drugs, alcohol and cigarettes prematurely age a woman much more severely than they prematurely age men. Quality men know this is the case. So if you want to make yourself more attractive to a quality man, treat your body like it is the tool, the vehicle that will bring new life into this world. Treat your body with all due respect and all due care. Quality men will notice. There was a recent article on Return of Kings called "Girls with Short Hair Are Damaged." At the time of writing, there were 9,569 comments on this article. The vast majority of said comments are hateful comments by women claiming the likes of, "How dare you say women with short hair are damaged, you woman-hating monsters." What the women are overlooking is that it is quality men who get to say what is attractive to us. We do not need to accept whatever women offer us. We can stand back and observe women who are putting themselves on the market for marriage, and we can reject those who are not attractive to us. I made the point in my comments on the article that the long hair on a woman takes quite a lot of time and effort to maintain. When a woman chooses to wear her hair long, she is saying, I am prepared to spend the time and effort on my hair to keep it in excellent shape even though it is long. I am prepared to spend the time and effort on my body to keep it in excellent shape for our possible future children. And she is saying, I am prepared to take care of my looks and my features such that I will age better than my peers. That's what she's saying. These points are not missed by quality men. When Jennifer and I were first dating, her hair was shoulder length. Not long, but not short either. I mentioned to her that women with longer hair are more attractive to men like me for exactly these reasons. Commitment to care for long hair marks one woman as different from another, more attractive than another. Jennifer grew her hair out long, and she had a lovely head of hair. I used to praise her for putting in the effort on a regular basis. When Josephine, my former daughter, was old enough to care for her own hair, I encouraged her to grow it out long, which she duly did. She had one of the longest, most beautiful heads of hair you would ever be likely to see. Alas, due to being past head lice at her school, she was eventually forced to cut her hair short, even though we tried very hard to get rid of the head lice some other girls brought into the school. We were unable to remove the lice while she had her long hair, despite weeks and weeks of our best efforts to do so. I was very sad to see that she had to lose such a long-term investment in her hair because of some other girl's poor hygiene, but these things happen. Another part of being physically attractive for a woman is to get regular exercise and to maintain her body weight at a reasonable level. This has many health benefits as well as being a way of remaining attractive to your husband. Us quality men know and understand that women who have our babies, who are with us for life as our wives, will have fluctuations in their body weight and their appearances during their lives. We know this is normal for women. Some men also go through body weight fluctuations, but since we are larger and taller, the body weight fluctuations are less pronounced on men and have less impact on our appearance. Further, the physical appearance of men is not nearly as important in selecting a husband as are other factors such as ability to earn money to pay for the prospective children. This is why women marry up economically 90% of the time. If women married for looks, the poor bricklayers and manual labourers, who are easily the most physical attractive men, would be making out like bandits. But they are not. While a man might take a woman's looks into significant account, while her bank balance and earning capacity is irrelevant, this is not so for women. If a man does not have good earning capacity, he will struggle to find a wife, no matter how good looking and physically fit he is. Us men have seen this plenty of times in our lives. Even though a quality man like me never once made an adverse comment about Jennifer's weight, was my sensitivity and support for her in this area rewarded in any shape or form? And the answer is, of course, no, it was not. Jennifer used to say to her women friends, Peter is such a wonderful husband. He has never commented on my weight negatively, not even when I was pregnant, not even when I had a period when I was depressed and ate too much and blew up like a balloon. He's always supported me and always told me he loved me while encouraging me to exercise for my own health and well-being. Many of her friends flatly denied that in 23 years together I never once negatively commented on her weight. But even so that restraint, that love, care, compassion and understanding was not respected or rewarded. So do not be surprised if other men run programs like Fat Shaming Week at Return of Kings. If you do not want men running Fat Shaming Week, you are well advised to show those quality men like me the respect and appreciation we have earned by never making adverse comments as to the physical appearance of our wives. That you do not show respect and appreciation for this shows us quality men that such restraint, love, care, compassion and understanding is not important to you and therefore should not be offered because it has no value to you. Indeed, there was one occasion where I criticised Jennifer very gently for her weight and told her that it was starting to bother me. This was when she had her time of doing vigorous exercise like canyoning and abseiling. She lost so much weight she was starting to resemble a teenage boy. I had to sit her down and say that although I could see the health benefits of being so fit and that her return to health was wonderful to see, I was concerned that she was overdoing it. I told her also that since I was a normal man who liked women and that she was losing so much weight she was starting to look like a teenage boy, moving more in that direction would not make her very attractive to me. I told her women are supposed to have curves. She laughed and said, "I'm probably the only one I know who has a husband who has never criticised me when I'm overweight but is concerned that I'm losing too much weight," she said. She actually said that. But when she said that, I reminded her of my first girlfriend, Susan Duplessis, Jennifer's best friend at school. She had fallen into anorexia as a teen. She remembered this, of course, and I reminded her that Susan's period of anorexia was very hard on her body as well as being very hard on her mentally. I then pointed out that it had started as merely wanting to be fit and trim, but had taken over her as an obsession, as happens to people with that disease. I told Jennifer that I was concerned for her health and well-being, that she did not accidentally go down the same path. Anorexia is something that can affect the most intelligent, most beautiful, or most sensible of women, and Susan was a very good example of how easily a young woman can slip into the anorexia-bulimia cycle. And once in the cycle, it can take years to get out of it again. Jennifer took the criticism well. We both knew how hard Susan had to work to get over that period of her life. It was something she fell into as a 16-year-old girl, despite her intelligence and despite all efforts from her loving parents to help her. Jennifer knew and understood that what I was saying to her was, "Remember, you are playing with fire and I do not want to see you get burned." So she eased up a bit on the abseiling and canyoning and started to put some more weight back on to become a more healthy body weight for her. She later thanked me for approaching her in such a loving and caring fashion. But are any of these sorts of efforts respected or rewarded? No, they are not, and this is a mistake by Western women. By stark contrast, how do Eastern European women treat their approach to exercise and health and well-being? They approach their bodies and how they treat their bodies very differently from my limited experience. Both Sue 1 and Sue 3 that I talk about in the appendices took their exercise regimes very seriously. Sue 1 ran 15 kilometres per session 3 or 4 times a week. She could run that in just over an hour or so, which is very fast for a 37-year-old woman, which she was at the time. She's very slim, so she's able to run quickly without injury to her body. She has done that for years. If she went more than a week without going jogging, she would be all out of sorts and grumpy. Sue 3 could not run so much as she was not as slim as Sue 1, though she was also a traffic stopper. Her main form of exercise of choice was rollerblading, as she could do that near where she lived. She was also a fish in a swimming pool. Much to my surprise, she could outswim me. Both women also encouraged me and supported me in getting back to a more healthy lifestyle as I was recovering from my time of living a less healthy lifestyle when I was focused on working to expose the criminality of our governments. Both were also very careful about the food they ate and always made sure they only ate good, healthy food whenever we were together. They made it very clear to me that they wanted children, more in the case of Sue 1, and they were taking very good care of their bodies for the day they might have the privilege of bringing a new child into the world. Their exercise regimes were very much a part of their desire to have children and to have a fit and healthy body when the happy event might take place. It was not the only reason they stayed fit and healthy, but it certainly was a major consideration for them. And now, once again, as we come up to roughly the 15-minute mark, we'll take a short word from one of our sponsors. and thank you very much for returning. In this next session, I want to talk about lose the makeup. I have no idea why Western women think that plastering on makeup with a trowel could possibly be attractive to any quality man. I mean, what is that even all about? Dear lady, do you imagine that we do not notice that putting makeup on with a trowel incredibly thick is merely an attempt to make yourself look better than you really are? I mean, do you really imagine that we're that stupid? I do not know a quality man who does not appreciate that too much makeup is a sign of low self-esteem and an attempt to hide what the woman really looks like. Do you imagine that we wish to marry women who try and sell us damaged goods early on in the relationship with us? And what is that all about that you wear so much makeup at work? I used to say that women in the USA and UK used to wear as much makeup as prostitutes. But men who actually use prostitutes tell me that even they do not wear as much makeup as your average office working woman in the USA or the UK. Do you imagine that the over-application of makeup is going to hide that you are 50 pounds overweight? Do you imagine that it is going to hide that you do not object when women make false allegations against men? Do you imagine that makeup can hide the character flaws that are so common amongst Western women today? Ladies, lose the makeup. If you must wear makeup, then buy the sort that is subdued, reserved and conservative. In Germany, the culture is very much that only young single women wear any significant amount of makeup at all. Married women will wear natural makeup and conservative tones, if any makeup at all. Women in Germany are not relying on their overt sexuality to unfairly compete with men in the office environment. Indeed, they go out of their way to dress conservatively and to make sure that they are not using their natural advantages over men to garner pay rises and promotions. In the USA and the UK, it is no exaggeration to say that I have seen women dress like streetwalkers and to have their shirts unbuttoned to their belly button, with their bras showing and leaving not much to the imagination in an office environment. For some reason, this seems to be quite standard in the West now. The women in the offices seem to want to provoke the men into looking at them and then accuse them of sexual harassment if the man casts a glance in their deliberately displayed cleavage direction. How many times have we seen photographs of male celebrities at places like basketball games where scantily clad young women are jumping around in front of the men, and he is, for some unknown reason, supposed to avert his eyes from these scantily clad women jumping around in front of him, because to look at them is somehow sexist or degrading of women. The opposite is true. Looking at beautiful young women jumping around in a scantily clad manner is actually recognizing their natural beauty. Not all women can pull that off. I am reminded of an article running on Return of Kings right now at the time of writing and recording. It is called How Feminists Shame Beautiful Women, and the link is there. You can go to the article and read it. Some of the female Russian athletes decided to do a photo shoot in lingerie. There are various explanations given for doing the photo shoot, but whatever their reasons, they are adult women and they have the right to do a photo shoot however they please. After all, how many women have been praised as empowered for doing nude photo shoots in Playboy and things like that? Women are actually praised for making sex tapes. Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian come to mind as two women who accidentally made sex tapes that accidentally got out to the public. If it is okay for women to do nude photographs and make sex tapes, then it is okay for some female Russian athletes to do a photo shoot where they wear bikinis and lingerie. After all, haven't the feminists been demanding that women should be free to make their own choices and not be oppressed by the patriarchy all these years? And yet, look at the comments by these feminists. And here is one of their comments. Quote, A piece of advice to the Russian team: you don't need to try so hard to make your female members look beautiful and sexy, because guess what? Female athletes are already beautiful and sexy. They have incredible, powerful bodies, grace and inner poise. They are confident and successful. They're some of the world's best athletes. Reducing them to pin-ups suggests you think that they should be valued only for their sex appeal. They're worth so much more to your country than that." End quote. The Return of King's writer also picked up on the term reducing in this feminist comments. Look how many women are lauded for being models. How many women have done the Sports Illustrated swimsuits edition? Lots. And yet here we are seeing a feminist make the implicit claim that a female athlete is somehow better than a model because a model is reducing herself to a pin-up. And these athletes are somehow better than pin-up models. Talk about hypocrisy from the feminist crowd. You wonder why we don't take you seriously. If a woman looks good and she wants to show off the results of her hard work in a photo shoot in lingerie, great, more power to her. What about all those cases where pregnant women have photos of themselves naked and splatter them all over the web? Do feminists champion that behaviour or condemn it? After all, Demi Moore appeared heavily pregnant on the front cover of Vanity Fair as long ago as 1991. You can read about it on this link, and the link is there. So Demi Moore going on the front page of Vanity Fair heavily pregnant is to be praised in 1991. But women Russian athletes being photographed in lingerie is somehow reducing women to pin-ups in 2014. I could not make this up. I really couldn't. The other thing to notice on the Return of King's article is that every single one of the women Russian athletes highlighted has, you guessed it, long hair. These women, as I noted, put in the time and effort needed to maintain long hair that communicates to us quality men that they are willing to take the time and effort to care for themselves and their body. This is quite overt advertising by women to let men know they are quality women. And remember, these Russian athletes, they probably train 6 or 8 hours a day, so maintaining long hair is a very big commitment from them. And every single one of them in the photo shoot had long hair, thereby advertising they are quality women. Right? That's an advertisement. So to summarize this lesson, not all women can be in the top 10% of beautiful women. That's why it is the top 10%. Women vary in their physical appearance just as men do. However, you can keep yourself physically attractive and send a clear message to quality men that you would like to be a good wife and perhaps mother by taking care of your body, which is the vehicle for bringing babies into the world. You can get good exercise. You can eat the right food. You can wear light makeup or none at all. You can maintain an attractive head of long hair. These are all things that you can do that will make you more attractive to a quality man. And that is the lesson for today. Thank you very much for listening.